Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your news edition. These are the headlines. Director General of the International Union of Railways, François Daven, hails Algeria's strategic vision in achieving the Western Mining Railway. The International Monetary Fund hails Algeria's development in improving investment and the business environment. As part of implementing the President of the Republic's program to renew the national fleet, 380 buses arrived at the port of Janjan in Jijel. On the occasion of the World Cancer Day, the National Strategy for the Fight Against this disease mobilizes all the necessary resources. In France, courts revealed the true face of the far right, a political program based on hatred. Welcome back. Prime Minister Sifir Rieb chaired the government meeting during which the government listened to a presentation on the 2026-2030 hydrocarbon development plan, which is strategic for the development of the hydrocarbon sector and represents a sustainable support to the national economy. The government also listened to a presentation on the financing of a Lagwat Ghardaya Al Mni'a railway creation project financed by the African Development Bank, a project of national interest that is part of the implementation of the modernization plan with interconnection and the creation of a railway network in line with the high economic return mega projects. The government reviewed the status of the classification of the equipment projects included in the state budget to end the obsolete operations so that the government can focus its efforts on the ongoing programs with socio-economic interest. The government listened to a presentation on the new feed intended for sheep called Sheep Date, an innovative product made out of date waste. As part of the situation of the drinking water supply of municipalities in need, notably in the south of the country, the government listened to a presentation on the launching of the mineralization stations project in Tamanrasset and Tindouf following the decision of the President of the Republic. The government inquired on the progress of the bus import and distribution operation for public transport as part of the implementation of the President of the Republic's program regarding the import of 10,000 new buses. The State Minister for Foreign Affairs, National Community Abroad and African Affairs, Ahmed Attaf, affirmed the necessity of following the strategic orientation of the President of the Republic regarding the national community abroad. In his speech while chairing the closing ceremony of the Presidents of Consular Centers Conference, he highlighted the necessity of modernizing the consular system to meet the needs of the national community abroad. We'll listen.
Ensuring legal and consular protection for members of our community living abroad requires you to pay the utmost attention to this matter, which constitutes the very core and noblest purpose of consular action, namely defending the interests of our fellow citizens and safeguarding their rights against any injustice or abuse they might face in their countries of residence.
Algeria's Bashar Tindouf Garage Billet Railway project has earned rare praise from the International Union of Railways, which highlighted the strategic line on its official platform, citing both its importance and the speed of its delivery as a model of coordinated national effort. Melissa Balaman.
The Bashar Tindouf Garage Billet Railway project continues to draw international praise, this time from the sector's highest global authority. The International Union of Railways highlighted the strategic project on its official website in an article titled Algeria inaugurates the new Bashar Tindouf Garage Billet Railway line.
Ce projet, c'est vraiment emblématique du fait que quand on a un grand projet minier,
this project reflects a clear principle. When you develop a major mining venture, building a major rail line is the optimal choice, and that is exactly what Algeria has done. What is equally strong and strategically important is the decision for SNTF to use a mining freight line for passenger transport across Africa. Rail networks are often built primarily for mineral and natural resource extraction. Using rail instead of trucks is cleaner and more efficient. efficient, and it also enables passenger service. We strongly support this type of project, leveraging the profitability of mining operations to provide low-cost passenger transport, especially in countries experiencing rapid population growth. Makes clear sense. Creating infrastructure that supports demographic expansion and economic development offers nothing but advantages.
Forte, donc du coup créer une infrastructure qui supporte l'expansion démographique, qui supporte le développement économique, ça n'a que des avantages.
The International Union of Railways also issued a clear tribute to the Algerian National Agency for Railway Studies and Investment Monitoring, praising its central role in delivering the project. The union underscored the agency's importance as a prominent and influential member within the organization at the African level.
Ce qui est intéressant dans l'expérience algérienne,
What stands out in the Algerian experience is the clarity of vision and the ability to integrate from the design stage territorial planning with SNTF's operational needs. Algeria's technical capability is unmistakable. The country has highly skilled engineers and demonstrates strong control over both engineering execution and project timelines.
il y a une très grande maîtrise à la fois de la technique et des plannings.
لأول مرة في الجزائر وبفضل سياسة السيد رئيس الجمهورية.
For the first time in Algeria, and thanks to the policy of the President of the Republic, a heavy mining railway line has been completed. The project has attracted wide national and international media coverage. Today, the International Union of Railways published an article highlighting both its strategic importance and the fact that it was delivered in a short time frame. Praised be to God, the union congratulated Algeria and also commended the national agency. This is a source of pride for us.
كذلك الوكالة الوطنية هذا فخر لنا.
The union stressed that the accelerated pace of construction once again demonstrates what is possible when efforts are aligned and all stakeholders operate effectively under a shared, clear and ambitious vision, one that turns strategic goals into concrete results on the ground.
Director General of the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, hailed the progress achieved by Algeria in the last years, highlighting the solid foundations of the Algerian economy. In an interview granted to the IPS, she hailed the mechanisms improving the business environment thanks to the adoption of investment and registry laws, the creation of the Algerian Agency for Investment Promotion, and the digitization of public services. The State Minister for Hydrocarbons and Mines, Mohamed Arqab, received the Italian Minister for Environment and Energy Security, Gilberto Pichetto Fratin, who is on an official visit to Algeria to take part in the conference organized by the Bank of Algeria in coordination with the International Monetary Fund under the theme North Africa, Connecting Continents and Creating Opportunities. The Minister of Religious Affairs and Waqf, Youssef Belmehdi, held talks with the Saudi Minister of Hajj and Umrah, Tawfiq bin Fawzan al-Rabi'a. The two parties discussed the ways of reinforcing bilateral cooperation in organizing Hajj and Umrah. Then the two ministers chaired an orientation meeting for the benefit of travel agencies taking part in the organization of Hajj and Umrah. At the United Nations headquarters in New York, Algeria was elected as first chair for the African group of the Preparatory Commission for the UN Conference of Plenipotentiaries on the Prevention and Punishment of Crimes Against Humanity. This election is a recognition of Algeria's effective role on this international scene, such as reinforcing international justice, respecting international law, and defending human rights. A new shipment of important buses has arrived at the port of Janjan in Jidel as part of a nationwide program to modernize Algeria's public passenger transport fleet, with further deliveries scheduled in the coming days across several ports. Coverage by Abdelrahman Shamaouni, taken up by Melissa Balaman.
Acting on instructions from the country's head of state to modernize the national passenger transport fleet and raise the standard of services provided to citizens, a new shipment of imported buses has arrived at the port of Janjan.
As part of the President of the Republic's program to import 10,000 new buses, a delivery of 380 buses of various models has now been received.
تم تسخير كل الوسائل المادية والبشرية وتمت العملية في أحسن الظروف.
A second shipment consisting of 210 is scheduled for February 6th. Also at the port of Janjan, as has been observed, all technical and human resources have been fully mobilized on 24/7 basis to ensure the unloading and the release of these buses from the port under optimal conditions.
It is worth noting that an initial shipment of 335 buses was received last Sunday at the port of Algiers. Further deliveries of the same nature are planned at several ports across the country.
As Algeria seeks to balance energy security with climate commitments, low-carbon technologies are increasingly seen as part of the country's future. From renewable power to cleaner industry, that was the main topic tackled during the strategic event on low-carbon solutions held this Wednesday in Algiers. Rafiq Hamidash with more details.
Transition toward cleaner energy is accelerating, supported by strong natural advantages and increasing political commitment to diversification. Indeed, Algeria is valorizing its resources and exploring low-carbon solutions to reduce emission while safeguarding its role as a major energy producer. Solar energy, in particular, is seen as one of the key opportunities, with a vast desert resources offering strong potential for large-scale power generation.
Valorization, it doesn't touch only oil and gas and mining. It has to touch many sectors. So I think what's really happening now in Europe and other countries, they just import crude oil, natural gas, and they pass that through a process of technology, innovation. That process creates add value to local economies. So I think we have to shed light on this, because valorization doesn't generate only revenue. It opens, let's say, the jobs. It opens the job opportunities and can bring, let's say, it could be like a locomotive of the economy.
Experts, for their part, consider that Algeria is well placed for the transition, with world-class solar resources, vast stretches of available land, and decades of experience in the energy sector. A combination that gives the country a solid platform to expand renewables and develop emerging technologies such as green hydrogen.
What we're considering here is, there's, on the one hand, there's the new energies in the world, the renewable energies, and the question arises, what is the relationship between these new energies and traditional energies such as natural gas? And that's an important tension. And what I've been saying at this conference, and I think some other people, is renewable energy is not going to replace natural gas in the long term, that they're going to have a mutually beneficial relationship.
When we talk about the cost, let's bit back about the cost over the benefit. Whatever project in any way you're doing, you have to find out how much cost it counted and how much benefit you can take. When we talk about the energy security, about the market, and we know energy has got a dynamic market, then whatever you do to have a better the production, you have a better supply chain, if you have a better for the export on your system to the other countries, and then you can get benefit of that. That means that these are all benefits. And then reducing the cost with the efficiency ways, with the way for the lower carbon footprint, that means you're going to spend less in the future for some implication that the high carbon or the climate change can bring to the country. Then that's the two-way for a win-win.
As Algeria accelerates its low-carbon ambitions, such events play a key role, offering a platform for Algerian energy professionals to meet, exchange expertise and stay up to date with the latest global developments. Just as importantly, they allow Algeria to engage directly with international experts, strengthening cooperation as the country works to shape its energy future.
On the World Cancer Day and as part of the national strategy to fight this disease, several public and private centers across the national territory are continuing their efforts to provide free care, particularly for children, thanks to conventions signed with the Social Security Fund. Open days were organized by promotion and housing management offices in various provinces to promote the procedures for transferring public rental housing to its occupants and the recovery of rent arrears to raise awareness on the importance of respecting state properties and discipline in paying rent. The app, secondly, can be used to submit property access applications and online payment. To the weekly report of the PNA. As part of fighting terrorism, PNA detachments eliminated 4 terrorists and recovered 4 Kalashnikovs, 2 grenades and ammunition in Ain Difla, 1st Military Region. In the same context, the terrorists KM, called Al-Termidi, and HM, called Nasreddin, surrendered to the military authorities of Borj Bedi Mukhtar and Ingizam in their possession 1 Kalashnikov, 2 semi-automatic rifles, ammunition and other items, while PNA detachments arrested 6 elements backing terrorist groups in different operations throughout the national territory. As part of the fight against organized crime and in continuity of the tireless efforts aimed at countering the scourge of drug trafficking in our country, combined detachments of the PNA intercepted in coordination with the different security services and operations across the military regions 76 drug traffickers and thwarted attempts to introduce 11.38 quintals of processed kif to the borders with Morocco, while 13.28 kilograms of cocaine and more than 4.5 million psychotropic tablets were seized. In Tamanrasset, Borj Bedi Mukhtar, In Salah, In Gizam, Ilizi and Janet, detachments of the People's National Army arrested 299 individuals and seized 29 vehicles, 194 generators, 159 jackhammers, as well as quantities of mixture of raw gold and stones, explosives, detonation tools, and other equipment used in illegal gold mining operations. On the other hand, 12 other individuals were arrested and 2 machine guns, 1 Kalashnikov, 2 hunting rifles, 46,800 liters of fuel were seized. 275 illegal immigrants of different nationalities were also arrested across the national territory. Marine Le Pen confronts a political crisis like no other, accused of embezzling and misusing European Union funds. She faces possible imprisonment and a 5-year ban from office, threatening to derail her hopes for the 2027 presidential race. Basma Fall.
Marine Le Pen, the heir to a discredited colonial mindset, now breathing her final political breath under the guillotine of justice, stands today as the most prominent figure of a movement mired in heavy black files involving charges of embezzlement and misuse of European Union funds. She finds herself besieged by requests from the French prosecution seeking her imprisonment and a 5-year ban from holding public office, a measure that would bury her presidential ambitions for 2027 in the graveyard of corrupt money, in a trial marking a decisive turning point in her political future. Therefore, if a ruling of ineligibility were handed down even without provisional enforcement, it would be very difficult for Marine Le Pen to conduct a presidential campaign. The foul stench of corrupt money that has scandalized Parisian judges goes beyond secret bank accounts. It flows into the veins of the far-right media machine, which is experiencing a phase of rabid assault on state sovereignty, or perhaps seething with anger at the achievements of a state of accomplishment. These channels, funded with the corrupt money derived from dubious deals and embezzlement of European Parliament allocations, have a primary role turning media platforms into trenches for discredited countries through the recruitment of paid mouthpieces and the hosting of so-called analysts. In Paris, the view is that Algeria truly needs us. In reality, Algeria, of course, alongside China, Russia, and others, quite frankly, has the entire world waiting for its attention, just like other countries across the continent. The far-right mouthpiece Exposed Intention continues to spread its messages on false platforms, driven by its broken authority and deep-seated hatred of all things Algerian, yet unable to hide the truth.
In Morocco, citizens facing eviction denounce arbitrary decisions by the Mahsen. Between home demolitions and loss of livelihoods, social tensions continue to rise. Basma Fall.
Across several Moroccan cities, citizens express their agony following forced evictions after decisions they qualify as arbitrary. For them, reality on the ground tells a different story.
The truth is, since 2016, we have been promised change, but nothing has changed. Our situation is exactly the same. People here are suffering deeply. They say they want to widen the alleys, but look at them. They are already wide. Why lie?
They accuse authorities of manipulating relocation files and distorting facts to justify demolitions.
Our files were manipulated. We are not asking for anything extraordinary, just our homes and the right to live in peace. Do not destroy our houses. Have mercy on us. Families are collapsing under debt. People are getting sick. The situation is unbearable. We cannot take it anymore.
At the same time, another alarming reality is emerging. Authorities have closed down shops labeled as informal under the pretext of fighting disorder. But on the ground, these commercial spaces are being reassigned, depriving small traders of their only source of income.
They confiscated our goods. At this stage, it is the same as killing us. We have no rights. We were expelled to make room for others. Why us and not them? Based on what criteria? Are they Moroccan and not us? They are only making our problems worse.
Between demolitions and the loss of livelihoods, the Moroccan citizens feel trapped as these measures reflect a deep social crisis and a widening gap between the Makhzen and the population, a situation that risks fueling further tensions.
And with this, we come to the end of our edition. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. Have a good night.